Jared Verse, fumble recovered for a touchdown last night. He was great.
He was great.
He was great. And you went on a rant earlier in the show, and it'll just piss you off something good if you're a Cardinals fan. Looking at a Rams defense that absolutely – I mean, we can sit here and talk about Sam Darnold all we want. Man, that Rams defense, they played their butts off last night. And it will, if you let it, it'll drive you crazy thinking about Aaron Donald, who was at that game last night, watching in the stands as a fan, and how we all thought as Cardinal fans, just get him off that team, and they're done.
They're done.
And they're done. They lost the best defensive player of his generation. Is calling it a career. Man, the Rams are bound to fold sooner or later. Something funny happened on the way to the funeral.
Yeah, it's called the draft.
Yeah, and Les Snead nailed back-to-back drafts, and now we're right back where we started from with the Rams.
It starts with this. When the Rams drafted Jared Verse in April, it was very significant because it was the team's first-round pick since 2016.
Uh-huh.
That was the first time they had a first-round pick since 2016.
Bleep them picks, right? Bleep them picks in L.A., yeah.
To win the Super Bowl, they went all in. They traded for Jalen Ramsey, gave up 2 first-round picks and a 4th. They traded for Matthew Stafford. They brought in Von Miller, like at the trade deadline. They signed Odell Beckham Jr. They were all in on signing older veteran players, trading for players, giving up draft picks to get guys like Jalen Ramsey. And then they decided to pivot. They just decided, okay, right after 2023, it was like, look, we're going to pivot. They traded Ramsey. They made it clear that they weren't punting on the 2023 season. Remember that famous comment by
a letter from their president. Yeah, Kevin Demoff sent a letter to season ticket holders.
They were 3-6. They weren't doing very well.
And he basically said in the letter, look, we're always going to try to win. But you just got to understand, we have to financially kind of reset some things around here. Yeah. We went for it. We have to kind of reset the organization a little bit. And it was sort of seen as a teeny tiny bit of a white flag to the fans. Like, hey, we're just not going to be that good the next couple of years.
Right.
Because we have to. We have to kind of reset things.
And they were 5-12 in 2022. They were 5-12. And that's when they said, okay, we got to make some changes. So they made all these changes, and they started to redo the team. And now you're looking at what they, like to go get, okay, Braden Fisk has been terrific. Man, the cost they moved up to get him, they said it was one of the most expensive day 2 overpays of the last 6 drafts.
Wow.
What they paid to move up. What they gave up, Los Angeles traded picks 52, 155, and a 2025 second to Carolina for 39 is where they got him. But they ended up drafting a whole bunch of defensive players, 5 defensive players in 2024, and these players are all hitting.
Yeah.
They're all hitting.
In fact, they've got, just defensive players alone, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Cameron Kinchins, pardon me, Jalen McCullough, all defensively. He's an undrafted free agent. He hit. That's from 24. From 23, it was Kobe Turner and Byron Young. Yep. And on the offensive side, it was Steve Avila that they hit well. It was Puka Nacua who hit well in 2023. I'm looking at a list here of notable Rams draft picks from the last 3 years, and I'm looking at no fewer than a dozen players who are all significant contributors to the L.A. Rams. And Gambo, I know, like, sometimes we're always trying to break, what does it mean for us? What does it mean for us? This is what this means for us. If you're an Arizona Cardinals fan,
I want to go that route.
This is the map.
I want to go that route.
Right? This is
why you got to hit. You got to,
of course. But this is why every time you say free agency is fool's gold, the draft is how you build your team, you should put this on like an idol and say, okay, this is it, the Rams and what they've done the last. This is who you need to be if you're really going to be successful.
Well, I said the other day that this number that people are saying the Cardinals have $95 million in cap space is a pipe dream. It's not true. They only got about $45 million in cap space. That number on overthecap.com doesn't take a lot into consideration. So the Cardinals do not have $90 to $95 million or $100 million in cap space. It's about half of that. It's about half of that. But to your point, and this is where they doubled down, I really liked this. So to your point, so you mentioned the Kobe Turner and Byron Young, that they got those guys the year before. They got Braden Fisk and Jared Verse. Those guys had 19 sacks. The rookies on the Rams before this year's draft class, go back to last year, Those guys had 19 sacks. Their rookies had more sacks than any other team in the NFL. And then what do they do this year? They go get Jared Verse and they go get Braden Fisk. They say, okay, let's double down. Let's make it even stronger. And then yesterday they get 9 sacks against Sam Darnold. Like, wow, it's really impressive what they did.
It's I know we're throwing a lot of info at everybody out there. There's another one I saw. This came from the 33rd team. Since the Rams won the Super Bowl, 18 of the 22 starters on offense and defense from that game have been replaced. The only 4 remaining from when they won the Super Bowl are Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Rob Havenstein, and Darius Williams. Started both the Super Bowl and yesterday's game against the Minnesota Vikings. They replaced 18 of the 22 starters since then, and that's the annoying part. The annoying part is that and they had the 1 year where they down dipped, like you talk about, at 5 and 12.
5 and 12, and that's when they decided we got to change.
But for the most part, they've been able to bounce right back to the level of competitiveness because they've drafted so well. So it got me looking at Monty Ossenfort's first 2 drafts and just wondering, I'm not even sure what the right word is here. Is he on the path to doing what the Rams have done? And I think the problem is that we don't know right away whether he is or not, right? We think he is.
The problem is Darius Robinson actually did not grade out very well. He had a really poor year. His pressure rate was like 3%. It was not very good. And you need him to hit. You need him to come into camp next year, first season's over, injury's over, and go out there and just kill it. You need him to be good.
That's one of the problems. I was going to say the other problem is that B.J. Ojulari has missed his entire year, too, for you. So, like, you look at the first Monty Ossenfort draft, Paris Johnson, I would say they have
solid
left tackle. Yep. Garrett Williams, I would say they have a very solid cornerback.
Like him a lot.
So 2 out of 3. Okay, but B.J. Ojulari was the 2nd-round pick. Michael Wilson was the 3rd-round pick. John Gaines, Clayton Tune, Keitrell Clark. Keitrell Clark had an okay season. He flashed a little bit. Dante Stills has played okay. Like, there's the seeds.
He's a nice role player,
of
Dante Stills.
That draft being impactful, they're kind of there, right? You'd really like it if B.J. Ojulari came through. Next year, we need to find out, does Marvin Harrison Jr. make the leap? Is Darius Robinson going to be all that, or is he going to be a first-round bust? Is Max Melton a starting corner
They like
in this
Isaiah
league?
Adams, too. Keep your eye on Isaiah Adams, 3rd-round pick. They like him a lot.
Rabbit Taylor Demerson.
Love
is
him.
he a starting safety for them a year from now?
I think they're going to cut Jalen Thompson.
Right?
I think they're going to move on from Jalen Thompson.
So suddenly, if you're talking about Paris Johnson, Garrett Williams, Marvin Harrison, Darius Robinson, let's throw in Isaiah Adams, Taylor Demerson. Now you're talking about 6. So, it's not quite the impact of the Rams, but you're getting there. You're starting to see the whole plan of how draft picks alter. And this was the thing that we could never, ever do under Steve Keim. I mean, I know this team underwhelmed us a little bit and left some of us disappointed. But, man, you think back to Steve Keim's ability to build a roster through the draft and have it consistently pay off. It was almost non-existent.
Yeah, and I understand that you said it last week. Look, you've got a certain amount of money. You've got to spend that money. Like, you have to spend that money in free agency. And I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with it. But I think what you're pointing out here is the philosophy that you need to win. You have to be better in the draft. You have to be great in the draft.
Is 10 times more important than spending all your free agency dollars.
Yes.
10 times more important that you do right here.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.